What's going on, guys? I appreciate you stopping back by the channel, and in this particular video I've got 10 fragrances that even I'm guilty of not wearing enough. Some of these I find a bit more interesting and can be a little polarizing. I can see why maybe they don't get enough love. Then there's others that just seem to get forgotten about, and I want to shed some light on these 10 fragrances and talk to you about them. So stay tuned. Starting with a flanker to a beloved line, kind of a forgotten flanker in many ways. It's one of those cologne flankers you hear of. It is from the Dior Eau Sauvage line. This is Eau Sauvage cologne. See, I don't have a huge dent in there myself. What's different from this one to the original Eau de Toilette, it's a bit more fresh green and mouth-watering citrus. It's not as much of a creamy citrus. It doesn't quite have that timeless style to the scent profile. I would compare it to fragrances kind of like, say, another cologne flanker, Givenchy Gentleman Cologne. While not exactly the same, that one has more of a floral tone with iris. This is all about some fresh, bright, and airy greens. Nice dose of citrus. Like I said, mouth-watering, kind of sharp type of citrus. Not a super long-lasting fragrance, but not a weak fragrance either. This is one that I typically get around 6 hours out of. Just because it's called a cologne flanker doesn't mean it's an eau de cologne concentration. I believe this is an EDT, if I remember correctly, which it does not say anywhere on here, but I believe it's an eau de toilette. It's some decent quality oils. For the Eau Sauvage line, Dior doesn't really, sacrifice too much quality here. Dior is known for making some pretty good designer fragrances, and this one is no slouch. I mean, has the stereotypical magnetic cap that the line has been known for many years at this point. It's a lovely fragrance. Like I said before, it kind of gets pushed to the side. This is one that gets forgotten about. Yes, we're in the fall, moving into winter, right down the road. There's never a bad time to smell fresh. I mean, this is quality citrus and fresh greens here. Very hard to beat. I don't know how easy it would be to get a sample, but definitely get your nose on this one. It's definitely better than the original in my opinion. It's Eau Sauvage Cologne. This next one's a strange one. This one's very polarizing. Some of you have heard me say there's certain just kind of weird fragrances that I really dig. This is one of them. Shout out to my man Ken Sense. He said, and I quote, "It smells like a fish market on me when I spray this on my skin." Sent it to me. Shout out to Ken. I appreciate you sending it to me. It's from Electimus. It's called Black Caviar. So I have a decant of this. I featured it well over a year ago. I actually had it on my arm earlier, and that's what sparked this video idea in the first place. Not going to deny, when you first spray this one, it does have a, raw fish eggs type of smell, because caviar is one of the notes. It's just like it's in the name, which is fish eggs. But if you can get through the first 2 or 3 minutes, because yeah, it's a strange opening. Like I said, I can see where this is polarizing. There's a beautiful, juicy, fresh, spicy appeal that has an elegant aura to the scent profile. This is quite the classy, dressy conversation starter in many ways, with a nice underlying sweetness in the backdrop that you don't really expect when you see the notes, or when you smell this opening, you definitely don't expect. It does rapidly change from the opening to the heart and dry down of the fragrance, and it's actually a beautiful heart and dry down that people should get a decant and try it. I can almost guarantee you're not going to like the opening. Some people will. I'm sure there's people out there that like the opening of this fragrance. I'm not a fan of it either. It's weird. Got to get through it. I don't hate it. But if you, like I said, if you can just get through just the first 2 minutes or whatever it is, for that top note to fade a little bit and let that heart start to settle in, it's absolutely beautiful. Like I said, a strange fragrance. This is one of those fragrances that's so damn weird, but I really, really dig. More people need to try this. This is Electimus Black Caviar. Arguably my favorite in the line. Nobody really talks about this one. It's gorgeous. It's superior to the Eau de Toilette that this is flankered from. It's from Viktor & Rolf. It's Spice Bomb Night Vision Eau de Parfum. Does not get enough love in my opinion. This is gorgeous. It's a beast performer. God, that smells so good. It's a compliment magnet. The performance goes hand in hand with drawing people in when it's a super, super mass appealing an inviting scent profile like this. It's spicy, it's sweet, it's creamy, there's pistachio, there's nutty notes, there's a little bit of woodiness going on in the back. It's fresh but not too fresh, but there's a lot of spices. It's like a creamy spicy fragrance. This is so good. It's still floating in the air. That is so strong. Just that one spray is just kind of filling the area around me. Absolutely gorgeous fragrance. Again, not sure how easy it is to sample this one. criminally underrated in my opinion. There was a time when I would claim this to be my favorite version of Spice Bomb. And while that's still not too far off from how I actually feel, because I've kind of reinvigorated my love for the original, so technically the original Spice Bomb is my favorite at this current point as we speak about one of its flankers, but this comes in a very close second with Infrared for me. They can do no wrong in this line for me. I love the Spice Bomb line, and this is one of the heights of it, and more people need to try this one. That's Spice Bomb Night Vision Eau de Parfum. This is one that is so fresh, different, juicy fruit citrus from everything else I've smelled. It's an indie niche fragrance that is absolutely amazing. My wife loves it. There's this grapes and quince note that have this almost sharp and astringent, but in a really good way. I don't know how else to put that. Type of citrus freshness, fruitiness. It's just beautiful. This is from Untamed Perfumes. This is called My Greek Lover. Pricey stuff for 1 ounce, don't get me wrong, but the originality, the creativity, the storytelling, the performance, wow. Just wow. This is my favorite one. This is the only one I've really spent time with doing full wearings because it's captivated me. I don't know if they offer samples or not. Definitely check the website. UntamedPerfumes.com, I believe, is the website. This stuff is floating in the air. It's so good. Quince and grapes. There's other things going on. There's lemon, bergamot, all these different things. There's a lot of notes, but that's the main things you're going to smell. A little bit of an herbaceous feel. There's a little touch of florals. A little bit of jasmine starts to creep in, but never makes it a feminine fragrance. Extremely down the line unisex. Everybody can wear this. My wife has worn this twice. I have worn this twice. More people need to try this. I think this is a remarkable fragrance. Best of the house, in my opinion. That's why I wanted to feature it. There's a few others that are really good, but this one really speaks to me. I've really been getting some joy out of it. Get a sample and try this. If you want a different fruity citrus juiciness experience, you want to try Untamed Perfumes, My Greek Lover. The Armani flanker that seems to get no love. We're talking Stronger With You line, and we're talking Stronger With You Freeze. So I went into it with low expectations when I blind bought this. But at first, it does come across as a more simplified and slightly fresher take on the original. At first glance, first sniff, that is what this fragrance is in the top. But as you go through your day wearing it, as it settles and dries, it's such a joy, such an easygoing, spicy, sweet fragrance that's more on the fresh, sweet, and fresh, spicy side of things. It's got more of a citrus appeal and freshness than the original. The other one's more warm and cozy and spicier overall. But this is a great daily wear fragrance. Doesn't sacrifice a ton of performance. It's actually right in the sweet spot of performance. It's like an 7 to 8 hour fragrance on my skin. So great longevity. Projection, pretty heavy in the first hour and a half or so, but not overwhelming like reach out and grab somebody from, 10 feet away. It's just a beautiful scent profile. It works for everything. Nobody shows this thing any love. There was a stretch earlier in the year that I was reaching for this one. This is one that I have not forgotten about. This is one of the first fragrances that popped in my mind to feature for this video topic because this is some really good stuff. The Stronger With You Only flanker came out, kind of supposedly taking this one's place. I don't know how true that is. I've tried it. It underwhelmed me much more than this one did. Yes, absolutely, and leather and all these other ones are amazing. I haven't tried Stronger With You Oud yet. I know somebody's going to ask. Will eventually. But this one, when it comes to versatility, this is the most well-rounded in the line, period. It deserves more love. It's Emporio Armani, Stronger With You Freeze. Next is on the more unique side. I haven't worn this one in a little while. There was a stretch that I used to wear this one I want to say in 2020. I did my fair share of wearings with this one. It's from a niche brand called Amarud. It's called White Hinoki. So it features this hinoki wood that is kind of this citrus, boozy, woody type of feel. There's some other notes in here, but boy, it's dominant. With the hinoki wood, it's a little smoky even, like an incensey type of feel. This is a gorgeous obsession of mine. I haven't worn it in a little while. Now that I'm getting to smell it, we're talking about it. This is going on the rotation table. At the recording of this, I will be wearing it this week. The weather has cooled down. Highs are in the 40s and 50s all week long. Lows in the high 20s and 30s. Great, great, cool fall weather for White Hinoki. Very unisex. I've had people tell me it smells a little feminine. I've had people tell me it does not. I kind of did a consensus when I used to work at Jaguar Land Rover when I first got this one. That's when I used to wear it the most, back in mid 2020. And it's a beautiful fragrance. It's not, I can't sit here and call it my favorite from the house because I've only tried 3 fragrances from the house. But of the 3, it's my hands down favorite because it's such a unique fragrance. It's fresh, it's green, it's citrus, it's boozy, it's spicy, it's woody. It's got a lot of different things going. It's kind of busy in a way, but it works, and performance is lights out. No performance issues whatsoever. Get a sample and try this one. It gets no love from Amar Oud. The oud fragrances and Whetstone, they all get the love. But try White Hinoki, trust me. A newer release that was cheap upon release, got a little bit of hype and kind of faded to the background. Shame. This is another one that's going on the weekly rotation table this particular week. We're talking about Drakkar Intense from Guy Laroche. I dig this stuff. This is one of my favorite pickups of the year. I paid like 30 bucks, maybe 40, something like that. Came in a white tester box. Barbershop feel, a little bit boozy, a little sweetness as it starts to dry, like this vanilla type of smell. It kind of encompasses that 80s barbershop feel. I've never tried the original Drakkar. I know that's what it's flankered from. You will get elements of Drakkar Noir because it's all the similar style family, that aromatic, spicy barbershop type of feel overall, fougere-ish type of quality. Here it's more barbershop than anything else. You get the aromatics, but like I said, the difference here is that boozy note. I find when you get a barbershop fragrance that's got a nice hit of a boozy feel, I don't even remember the note in there, but it has this alcoholic vibe to it. It gives it more of a modern touch. Think fragrances like Azzaro Pour Homme Intense, for example. Think Pacha de Cartier Parfum. While none of these smell like one another, they kind of do the same job, and this is the cheapest of the bunch. This deserves some more love. It really does. You can find, I'm sure, for 30 bucks now for these bottles, because this was right after it released that I got it for 40 bucks. I'm sure you can get it for a few bucks cheaper than that. If nothing else, 40 bucks. Still a good price. Solid performer, smells great, doesn't smell as cheap as what you're going to pay. This deserves some more love. Guy Laroche, Drakkar Intense. A sexy, seductive, unique experience is probably the best way I can open up this particular fragrance's topic in this video. We're talking about the original Narcotica from Narcotica. So this has this sweet, smoky incense, oud, cannabis, amber combo kind of going on here. It's a precious oud that Claude used, perfume by my main man, Claude Deer. Man, this stuff is remarkable. This is one of the most intoxicating fragrances I've ever smelled that, oddly enough, has cannabis and a rare precious oud, is the way Claude described it to me for the oud that he used in here. Performance is nuts. It's like a 28% extrait. It stays, it lingers. The sillage is the magic. This is remarkable. This is another one that remarkable is a great word that fits it so well, because think amber, okay? Smooth, warm amber, not dry. There is a little bit of a powdery tone, but this oud is kind of sweet and smoky, and I believe there's incense in here as well that kind of adds to that. And the cannabis is more earthy herbal than anything else. It doesn't have this heavy marijuana smell. It does provide this earthy herbal green feel to it that could potentially be mixing into, because this got this almost burning, smoky type of smell to it. This is some serious stuff right here, guys. You can get decants in a variety of sizes from D'Or Prestige's website. I do have a link down in my link tree with a 10% off code if you want to get one of the decants. I think you can go as low as like a 2 or 3 ml sample for like 7 or 8 bucks. Try it. This is an experience worth having. It's a unique experience for those of you that are looking for that different niche fragrance to add to your collection. This might be that fragrance. That's why I urge you, get your nose on it. It deserves more attention. Now that I'm moving into cooler weather, I'm reaching for this one. Dolce Diablo, their newest release of the recording of this, it's an amazing boozy gourmand, but this stuff, whew, it almost takes my breath away when I smell it. Again, that's Narcotica from Narcotica. No secret that I'm a fan of lavender heavy fragrances, and this is the best of the Boss Bottled line that features lavender. It's the best lavender note of the, bazillion Boss Bottled flankers they've put out. This is Hugo Boss Bottled in Infinite. Think Boss Bottled, okay? Picture Boss No. 6's DNA. Not quite as spicy cinnamon. Still have a little bit of that apple fruitiness. The spice is there, but it's toned down in the back because there's this olive tree note that offers kind of this oily feel to it, this rich thickness to the aroma, with a lavender note that's not just straight soapy lavender. Is it a little soapy? Sure, you're going to get a soapy feel to it, but it's not overdone like just a clean soap fragrance. So don't think that. This is actually more interesting and intriguing of a scent profile overall than most would think, or most like to give it credit for. You can still find this one in the sub $40 price point, or right around 40 bucks from discounters online, and it's one of the best versions of Boss Bottled that nobody talks about. It really is. This is definitely a top 5 in the line. Like I said, there's so many Boss Bottled flankers out there. I would put this up there with fragrances like Boss Bottled Oud, which I love, Boss Bottled Intense Eau de Parfum, which is the mountaintop when it comes to the ultimate version of the scent profile. This one falls in line with some of those. You know, it's, like I said, at minimum top 5 in the line, and there's probably 15 or 20 Boss Bottled flankers at this point over the years. It's really good stuff. It deserves some love. I do talk about it from time to time. I did a full review back in the beginning of 2020 when it was a pretty new fragrance, and I really do love this stuff. It's very good. This one is another one. Pretty much all of these really are going on the rotation table and will be worn in the coming weeks because they deserve some love from me, and I want to talk to you about these because they deserve some love from you. And that's Boss Bottled Infinite. Last but not least, this is kind of my show out fragrance of choice. I feel like I'm the one that loves this the most because I don't ever see any scent of the day posts. I don't really hear anybody talk about it. I don't see any posts about it. I just don't. And it's a crime with Epic Man from Amouage. I love this stuff. I seldom wear it because it's a very special scent profile to me. Probably, no, it is, my favorite Middle Eastern fragrance. The performance, the smokiness, it's just a heavy dose of incense, spice, and oud. It just works. I wore it last Thanksgiving. It was, God, it's so good. It was topic of conversation, kind of a medicinal type of oud. Dry, but not too dry. Statement maker. Absolute statement maker of a fragrance. I love Amouage Epic Man. And I'm starting to feel like I'm one of the few in the crowd. I'm not saying that there aren't others out there that don't really enjoy this fragrance. What I am saying is I don't think it gets enough love. I think it gets overshadowed by all of the remarkable releases that come from the house, because Amouage, one of my personal favorite fragrance houses, one of the best fragrance houses in the world. Say what you want, there's no denying it. Come at me. Amouage is amazing. And I haven't even tried close to half of their fragrances. It's just so good. I don't know what it is. This bottle is just gorgeous. This emerald green, transparent with the gold. It's one of the newer formulations, but it still performs really well for me. Very long lasting, loud, but not too overwhelming, but it's still a loud fragrance. Like I said, conversation starter. We had such a long conversation about my fragrance, multiple compliments the last time I wore it, which was last Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's around the corner. That goes to show you how seldom I wear this fragrance, because it's up on a pedestal. When I want a fragrance that's going to show out, that will start a conversation because this is an impactful aroma, that's what I rock. You should get a sample and try this. If you've never tried Epic Man and you like incense, for example, you're doing yourself a disservice. Needs more love. Amouage Epic Man. Well, that is the 10 that I have for you today. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. So I do appreciate all the feedback. And I love hearing from you guys. What of these 10 have you tried? Do you have? What do you think about them? I'd love to read about it in the comments. I'm very curious. Do you agree with me on a lot of these picks? Are some of these just not for you? You tried them and you're like, oh, that fragrance is terrible. It doesn't work on my skin. That can be the case for some of these as well. I totally get that. And until next time, I will say, if you give any of these 10 a chance, you give them a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.